In this video, we're going to see how to use Minitab to perform an ANOVA test. So this problem is the same problem that was in a previous video. We were looking to see whether or not there was any association between what someone listened to and how willing they were to stay on hold. So because we've got a categorical variable and a quantitative variable, we want to consider using ANOVA. So provided the conditions to use this test are met, I'll go ahead and show you how to run the test in Minitab. So you want to start by entering the data. So in this case, it's the number of minutes people stayed on hold for the ad group, the elevator music, and the classical group. So just pause the video now and enter this data into your Minitab spreadsheet. Then you'll go to Stat, ANOVA, one way, and our response data is in different columns. Right. So what that means is when it says factor levels, it means your groups. And right now I have it broken out into waiting times by group, and the groups are in different columns. So we don't want this first drop down. Here, the data is in separate columns for each factor level. So for each group, we have the different data. So select ads, elevator music, and classical. And then just click OK. And down below, you'll see your F-test statistic and p-value. Okay, again, the p-value is very small, so we reject our null hypothesis. And what we can see from this data is it suggests that for at least two of these groups, the average wait time differs. Okay, so let's look when we have a real data set, a big data set to look at how would we do an ANOVA test. So go ahead and open that familiar data set, day 1 S26. Which is available in D2L. And the question is there any association between whether or not someone has traveled outside the United States and how many states they visited? Again, we've got a categorical variable, yes, no, have you traveled outside the US? And then a numeric variable, how many states have you visited? And we want to see if they're associated. Okay, so that data is here. In column 8 is whether or not someone's traveled outside the US. Column 9 is how many states they visited. So the null hypothesis will be there's no difference in mean states for the people that traveled outside the US and those who haven't. The alternative will be there is a difference. So we'll use an ANOVA to run this test. We'll go to Stat, ANOVA, one way. And now, if you look here in column 9, all our state data is in one column. It doesn't matter whether or not you were traveled outside the United States, yes or no. It's all in one column. So the response data now is in one column for all the groups. The response variable we're trying to look at is how many states you visited. That's column 9. And the factor is just your group. And the group is whether you've traveled outside the US or not. And that's in column 8. And you can click OK. And down below, you see your F-test statistic and p-value. Okay, so a large p-value. So we'll conclude by saying, no, based on this data, we don't have any evidence that the average number of states a student has visited depends on whether or not they've traveled outside the country or not.